You know, like we just like different things, or we have completely different career paths. We have completely different strengths and weaknesses. So it makes sense that we would have different desires and different passions. Um, and so having the freedom to get that is the only way we could exist. We can't coexist if I try to make her like me, or if she tries to make me like her. And so a lot of people do think it's this one for one competition thing, like you know,
Yeah, people actually ask me, so, how does that feel? Do you stay at home? How do you feel? I'm like, I feel like I feel. I feel exactly how I want to feel, and it's not a one for one. I know my strengths. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. If I try to do what he does, I'd be a complete mess.
she'd be like a cat with like 20 balls of yarn, just choking herself.
No, I'd piss a lot of people off. That's what would happen. Like I'm not you. I can't. I would literally piss people
All
off.
right. She's not as soft and squishy as I am.
No,
See,
not at
everybody
all.
thinks this is what's happening in the podcast is people think that I'm like the Mac Daddy, hardcore, just like runner of the show, and like you're like the passive, supportive, nurturing dame who's just weathering the storm, and it's like it's almost like you're Bob Marley and I'm Rita, like in a different way. Like
Well,
I'm the softie, you know I'm the one that's like ultra nurturing to the friendships and super mega patient for people's rides and stuff. And
well, until a certain point. I mean, it's all. I think that we need each other in the core of when it becomes when logic needs to come in, logic comes in.
yeah,
I mean, the worst that people can experience is if when logic comes in from both of us at the same time. That's
yeah,
pretty rough.
yeah, then they don't get either one of us to
No,
help them with that situation.
no.
All right, so but for the first part of our, like, we're talking about the evolution for the first almost 8 or 9 years,
More.
maybe
More. I
10,
mean, if
11 years.
we are in 13, 14 years, I
Okay.
mean,
Well,
for
yeah.
the.
So the first 10, 11 years, our core thing was about discretion. Like, protect me from the parts of your ride that I would be sensitive to, and I'll do my best to protect you. And we tried to just not put each other in situations to where we had to lie to each other. Um, we did lie to each other, and it overlapped because there was a fear of like the truth of going into detail would be more painful than protecting her from our ride, or protecting me from her ride, or whatever. But that we outgrew that.
I think that that's the most difficult part of coming out and being open to each other and honest is the fear of hurting the other person. I mean, I'm still not over it. You're doing better with it because you, I guess, have had more
I've been
practice.
hurt a lot. Been hurt a lot in my life.
Well, I mean, between you and I'm not
Oh,
talking about other people. No, like you being honest with me and me being honest with you.
right. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a difficult part, like you need to be honest, you need to be honest, you really don't have a choice because at that point it's a choice between am I going to have this relationship or am I going to lie? If you lie, you don't have it,
Right.
but still opening up,
Right.
like speaking the truth that for a fact is going to hurt the person that you love is not an easy thing at all.
Yeah. But it's that healthy hurt. It's that hurt of like hitting someone's insecurity, but then nurturing them through conversation and through space to grow through that. And that's the thing, is we don't want to let our fears and our insecurities stifle our growth and make us pretend that we're something that we're not. And that's the hard part. Like, we knew each other. We agreed in this relationship to be able to have the freedom of choice. But even in that space, there's certain things like, well, I don't know how she's gonna feel about this and that, and I don't know. And so we still had to learn that it's not just like, oh, okay, we're open, it's all good, it's super easy. Like, it's not. It's layers and layers and layers of steady work refining. It's like I said, it's like a professional relationship athlete. It's like you have to get better. You have to refine your shots. You have to study. You have to you deal with weaknesses. People expose your weaknesses, and weaknesses are insecurities and fears, and this will magnify them. So if you're afraid of your fears and insecurities, it's gonna be a rough ride. But if you're brave and you lean in, you'd be surprised that a lot of the things you're petrified about is not really as scary once you allow yourself to just sit in that space and cocoon that fear with logic, love, nurture, trust, faith, and good conversation. And so that kind of leads us into the keys to our relationship. Like we're doing pretty good. I think we spend more days really excited to be with each other and grateful than we do spend days thinking that we just don't want to be here. I think those are very, very few, if ever. And if it is, like, if a matter of like 3 minutes, it's more like I just want to be out of the house, not like I want to be out of the relationship type stuff. So one of the important things that we discovered is we need off the grid time. Each of us need off the grid anonymous time. Time where you're not being accounted for, where you can just live and do whatever you want to do, be in your own space. Remember what it's like to be an individual again. Not always have to be on the clock or
that is super hard. I mean, it's not that hard for Tion because he grew up where he had a lot of free anonymous time or time when he was not tracked by his mom. I had none of that. To this day, my parents want to know exactly what I'm doing when. I have a much better mechanism of ignoring them now, but when you grow up like that, it becomes your habit. You want to track that other person, and just giving that time is really, really hard. Even out of that habit, just out of that habit, it becomes a lot harder. So, I think it's easier for him to not know where I am, and not try and track me versus me. It's better now, but breaking that habit is not an easy thing to do. I mean, I'm realizing that I don't do it with my kids. I don't track them. A lot of people are like, whoa, don't you have the, locate your child thing on your phone? No, I don't. I mean, if I need them, I call them or text them, they respond, that's all I need to know. With Tion, it's a little different, but it's a process. You have to learn that. You have to really, really consciously learn it.
Yeah, and it's very invigorating. And it's a gift. It's a gift of love. It's very sexy when your partner's like, okay, have a good time tonight. Let me know when you're on your way back. And then you can go through that with them. And it's sexy. It feels really good when they give you that space. Because then it makes you feel like you want to come back and you're grateful. And you want to tell them. And that's the second part of the off-the-grid anonymous time is the let me tell it theory.
Yeah.
And the let me tell it theory is like, okay, remember back in the day when we didn't have phones and chats and Instagrams and like that, if your friend went on a trip, and maybe every couple days they call you and you have a conversation, they would tell you, they recap the things that they experienced in their time or in their travels that they feel would be beneficial for them to share with you, and you have that conversation. And or you go on a trip, when you come home and then you have you tell the story about the people you met and the experiences and things like that. Nowadays, everything is such in real time that
by the time you come home, no one's even asking any questions.
Yeah, and what happens is the questions will come out before the things happen. So it would come out, things come out like, what are you doing today? What are you doing then? Then what are you doing tonight? What are you doing? And then all of a sudden, the next morning it's like, what did you do today? What did you do that night? And then if it didn't match up, it'd be like, oh shit. And so we realized the hard way. It's like, if we grid each other out, we don't leave each other that space to just be in their own space. And not everything that we do needs to be debriefed. But we found that if we give each other that space to just do whatever, the person wants to share with you because they love you, they care about you. That's why you're together. So if you let them tell it, you end up getting a better story, a more animated, a more story that they're giving because they care.
Honest.
Yes,
Definitely way more honest. Like if try to extract it, then it's either not gonna come out or it's gonna come out in an extremely edited version
Yeah, a lot of stuff's gonna be redacted.
for sure.
But that's the whole thing about, that's the metaphor about the relationships too, is like you don't want to have a relationship to where the person shares with you or is with you because they're obligated.
You know what? I realized that I am so not interested in so many people, and it comes through as a blessing. Like, I get lost in names. I don't necessarily remember who is who lives where.
My name's Tion.
Yeah,
I
well,
live,
you
okay.
I know.
All right, cool.
But, like, I don't necessarily, I think I would be overwhelmed if I knew exactly what you knew.
Right.
Like, that's too much. That's me living your life. That your life is way too much for me.
Right.
Like, we weren't even Facebook friends until
Yeah,
a year ago.
that was funny. We didn't become Facebook friends until literally like,
A year ago.
was it a year ago?
I something like that, because I'm like, I have my 100 friends. I'm good. You have your whatever friends. I don't need to be in your world. I'm
Right.
good.
It's a lot. And that's the cool thing about diversity. Like, she's her. There are things that she does that would make my head explode. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to deal with it. She deals with that. That's part of the team. It's like, Steph Curry is not trying to do what Draymond does. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just trusts that Draymond can do that, and vice versa. So, we're not the same. It's not a one-for-one thing. And so, letting someone tell it is important. Give them the space. Trust them. Remember, the vows that you hopefully wrote, or maybe the ones you just right now, if you haven't wrote them, go write some new vows. But one of them will be trusting the person and having faith in their decision-making process. And so ask yourself that question before you're concerned about who they're going out with.
Yeah.
And what's their relationship. It doesn't matter. What matters is that person, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, made a commitment to you, whatever that is, and you should have faith in them to uphold that. And if you don't, then you might really want to question why you're with somebody you don't trust. So, give them a little bit of space. Don't even ask them where they're going. Just be like, have a good time tonight. Let me know when you're on your way back. You might even want to surprise them and be like, so are you coming back tonight, or are you going to be out, And they're like, what? Like, and don't make it a trick. Like, and if you're like, well, actually,
Do not freak people out.
well, don't make it a
That's
trick.
too much.
No, give them feel free. Give them encourage them to go away for a few days. They may not, right? It's like it's the freedom. If you give them that,
If you give me that choice, or if you encourage me, you know for a fact I'm not gonna do it.
right? But that's because it's your choice, not because like I know she won't do it, so therefore I'll offer it. Like it's but just see what happens when you give your person space to grow and breathe. It's an amazing thing. Another one is the freedom of letting go and entrusting, just having faith in a person's decision-making process. Have faith that you made a good decision in choosing to be with this person. You don't have to micromanage people. It's exhausting. Have faith.
It is really, really tiring. I think the main reason why Tina and I actually came to a point where we consciously changed how we operated was because I literally hit the point where I'm like, listen, I love you. I don't want to change anything about how you do things, but I just don't have the energy to deal with everything that comes with it. And it's now interfering with my other life. So something has to change. It becomes too much.
Yeah, so let go. Trust your teammates. Because you have to have faith, especially in a open poly or whatever non-monogamous relationship. You're gonna encounter people that you care about, new people, talented people, beautiful people you're attracted to, and your partner has to trust that you can handle that space and still honor what you chose and what you love, and that that as a person who's going to have a partner who has different people they're going to meet all the time and have the freedom to, we got to make sure that we're doing the good job of being a good partner to our other person, so that way we earn our keep. Like, we actually make the person feel loved and feel great, so they want to come back no matter who they're around.
And guess what? Like, self-esteem is a big deal.
Yeah.
Self-esteem is a huge deal. I tell Tion that maybe when I tell the story, it is not really fair to a lot of people because I have never had problems with my self esteem, so I never even, I mean, it doesn't even occur to me that he may not come back. I'm like, really? If you find someone who's better for you than me, then good luck. I mean, that's awesome. But I just don't think it's going to happen. So I don't have those. Those are not the issues that I have. Self esteem is a huge deal. So whatever you got to do, you know, like you stay in shape, you work out, you know, do what makes you happy, you choose a career path that you know makes you helps you grow, all those things, and you live your own life, and that way you're not really depending on him, and he's gonna want to be right back there.
Right, and that ties right into don't dump your fears, insecurities, and doubts on the other partner. Like if you're insecure and you're feeling some kind of way, don't blame them. Don't passive aggressively make them feel bad about being who they are, because you know deep down inside that's not your goal. But if you don't check those feelings, you will come out doing things and saying things that are very counter to the whole reason you're
I
together.
think that that goes in how we're not taught how to express being weak. We're taught to be strong. We're taught how to take care of our own problems, our own issues. We're not taught how to, uh, you know, put down your guard and tell the person you love, like, listen, I'm feeling super sensitive, and there's nothing for you to do. This is just how I feel. That's what it is. Instead, we try to be strong and we try to deal with it, and stuff comes out backwards, it comes out sideways, it comes out passive aggressively, and then we're back to being adversaries again.
Right.
I mean, it's back to, hey, if you're partners, then you should be able to go, hey, I am feeling really, really insecure. And he goes, oh, I understand. And
Right.
it reminds you of all the good things and all your vows and all the reasons why you're doing this. And that is such a better way of expressing that insecurity versus going, hey, when you do this, this makes me feel that way.
Right.
It's not when he does it, it's just your normal human feeling, and it comes with the territory.
Yeah, and it comes with, owning those feelings, and knowing that, you know, the other person is not solely there to